Does the North Shore have the coolest cinema in Australia? The Cremorne Orpheum was at the vanguard of the cinema scene in Sydney, and itself is a living monument to film and theatre history in the 20th century. Most of us on the North Shore have memories of this Art Deco film haven. Give me a few minutes and I'll tell you the story, which begins back in 1912, a year dominated by news of the sinking of the Titanic, when two brothers from southern Italy opened the original Orpheum on Alfred Street in North Sydney. After seeing moving pictures in the US, Frank Vergona persuaded his brother Angelo that Sydney needed a cinema of its own. Keeping audiences entertained with silent films and live music, the OG Orpheum showed the first talkie ever in 1929, the Hollywood production A Dangerous Woman. After talkies well and truly took over, the live band continued to play their music to warm up audiences. 1929 was also the year of the huge stock market crash that ushered in the Great Depression. But the Vergona brothers were too busy planning for the theatre that would become the Cremorne Orpheum to take note. They recruited the architect George Kenworthy, a specialist in cinema design with expertise in acoustics, decoration, and lighting. Much needed, as the new theatre would have more than 2,000 lights. The cost of the plans were to the tune of around 25,000 Australian pounds, or $1.5 million today. The new cinema would have a contemporary design with elegant geometric lines and motifs, referred to back then as modern, but today is known as Art Deco and would later be called interwar. Grander than most suburban theatres at the time, it was designed to compete with city theatres during the advance of the talkies and genre films. Its opulent main theatre originally sat 1,735 people across the stalls and mezzanine levels. This grand style has clear similarities with the Randwick Ritz, the Enmore, Campsey's Orion Theatre, the Roseville and Glebe's Valhalla Theatre, which were all built in the ensuing years. With the two Orpheums sharing the same programs, the Vergona brothers needed to get the film reels quickly between venues. The rumour is that the local police looked upon the Vergonas speeding with leniency. From the late 30s, competition increased. The Orpheum's closest rival for Art Deco showmanship was the revamped Queen's Theatre in nearby Crow's Nest. The heyday of the Vergonas' picture palaces began to dwindle in the 60s after television came to Australia in 56, as well as drive-in movie theatres. Audiences halved after everyone got a TV and dropped even further in the 80s with the introduction of home VCRs. While the Cremorne Orpheum struggled on through the 60s, the North Sydney Theatre wasn't so lucky. It was demolished in 62 to make way for the Warringah Expressway, along with 500 other buildings, its last movie being Gone with the Wind. The Cremorne Orpheum struggled on until it shuttered its doors in 1977. That is, until media personality Mike Walsh bought it in 1986, spending $2.5 million on its restoration, approximately $8.5 million today, evicting the pigeons that in the interim called the empty theatre home and gifting the Orpheum his middle name Hayden. Walsh worked with theatre historian and designer John Love to restore the cinema to what we see today, keeping Art Deco details like the ornate atmospheric lighting, ceiling motifs, and specially designed carpet, salvaging many bits of decor from the Art Deco Embassy Theatre in the city, which was being demolished. They carved 5 more cinemas into the sandstone on which the original building was built. The spectacularly restored Hayden Orpheum had a grand opening on December 9th, 1987. As part of the refurbishment, Walsh installed a Wurlitzer pipe organ, originally from a theatre in Fresno, California. Neil Jensen has been its caretaker and the enormously popular resident organist, and is in fact the longest-serving theatre organist in Australasian cinema theatre history. In an era of featureless cinema spaces, the Hayden Orpheum Picture Palace is a striking monument to the heyday of film, and a continuing cultural centre for moviegoers on the North Shore. Gina Davis even calls us Orpheum types. With a vast and varied program and June looking to be busy with Sydney Film Fest, I hope the Hayden Orpheum Picture Palace is in its modern heyday.